In this video, we'll be going over the bottom-up approach or best time to buy and sell stocks tree. Let's go over the thought process. So we will be converting the memorization approach to a bottom-up approach. Now, where do we start? In the memorization approach, we have cached I states and the number of transactions with maximum profit. Max profit. This means we can create a 2D matrix or a 3D matrix. Max profit for all combinations of I, state, and t. Now, what are the default values inside the max profit matrix? When I is out of bound or t is equal to 0, the number of transactions we can make is 0, so the maximum profit will be equal to 0. Now let's go over the pseudocode. So we're going to create a 3D matrix. Max profit to keep track of the maximum profit for all combinations of I, state, and t. Now the x-axis represents I, the y-axis represents states, and the z-axis represents t. Now we want to iterate through the indices from prices.length to 0, prices.length minus 1 to 0, which is denoted as our current index I, and then we want to iterate through the states from 1 to 0, denoted as state, and then when it iterates through the transactions from 1 to 2, denoted as t. We do not need to iterate from 0 because when t is equal to 0, the max profit is going to be equal to 0 anyways, and our matrix has default values of 0. Now, if state is equal to 0, we're currently in our buy state. We have two choices. We want to pick the maximum profit between buying at the current stock or just skipping the current stock. So we're going to set max profit I, state, and t to the larger value between. So currently this one is buying from the current price. We buy the current price. I turns to I plus 1, states goes to our sell state, which is 1. Number of transactions stays the same, and then we need to decrease by the current price because we bought the current price, so we're paying this amount. And also the maximum profit, we just skip the current price, so we just I plus 1. Else, we're currently in our sell state. We also have two choices. One to set the maximum profit between selling at the current stock or skipping the current stock. So if we sell at the current stock, our state goes to 0, and then the number of transactions decreases by 1, and then we gain the amount. We gain the stock amount, or we just skip the current stock, which is just I plus 1 and states and t. Now we want to return the maximum profit starting from index 0. Our state initially is equal to 0 because it's the buy state, and the number of transactions we have is 2. Now let's go over the time and space complexity. For the time complexity is O of n times 2 and then 2. So 4 is equal to O of n, where n is the length of the input rate. This is because of the nested for loop. Now our space complexity is O of n times 2 times 3. So it's equal to O of n. This is the max profit matrix. Now let's go over the code. So we're going to create our max profit matrix first. And then our number of states, which is 2 states, and the number of transactions, we have 0, 1, and 2, so we're at 3. Now we're going to iterate through the indices from prices.length minus 1 to 0, denoted as I, and then we want to iterate through the states from 1 to 0. Now we want to iterate through the transactions from 1 to 2. If states is equal to 0, we're currently in our buy states. We want to pick the larger profit between buying at the current price or just skipping the current price. Now the first one is buying at the current price. So our state turned to 1, and then decrements by the current price, and also skipping the current price, so it's just I plus 1. Else, we want to pick the larger profit between selling at the current price or just skipping the current price. So if we sell at the current price, our states turn to 0. The number of transactions decreases by 1, and then we increment by the current price. And then if we just skip the current price, the state stays the same, the transaction stays the same, and we just skip the current index. Then we can return max profit starting from index 0, starting from states of 0, or the buy state, and the number of transactions is 2. Oh, we need to move forward our index to I plus 1. Let me know if any questions in the comment section below.